waiting for you. Across the multiverse we collide. It's extraterrestrial, our love. Across the multiverse, you and I.
Verse. Welcome back to the journey through the Arrowverse. I'm your host, Logan Keithie, and we are here with episode 5 of Arrow. I have my co-host along with me tonight, Keithie Langston. How you doing?
What's going on, handsome?
Fighting through some allergies. Obviously, I don't quite sound like myself, but I'm doing all right.
Is the season?
Yeah, anytime the seasons change really drastically, I get hit with a pretty bad cold, crud, whatever you want to call it, kind of situation. So, winter definitely turned to spring here pretty recently. So, it is definitely hitting me pretty badly. So, like I said, we're here with episode 5 titled "Damaged." We will hear Oliver mention that word later on in the episode, so that's kind of why it's called that. Before we dive in, any thoughts on the previous episode that we did last time before we hop in?
No, I mean that was a good episode because we had the big cliffhanger at the end where Oliver gets arrested for portraying the Hood. So, and we're going to be following up with that this episode. So that was pretty good. And no, I think we're ready to roll. I feel like, we got a lot of compliments though on the last episode. So I thought that was kind of nice. So please, if you wish, leave us a message, leave us a review on Podbean or on Apple Podcasts. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube, leave us a comment on YouTube because we like to know, as my buddy Pete always says, it lets us know it's known as our social proof that you are liking what we're doing here. And of course, you can also reach out to me at Flounder824 or Logan at Highway Backbone on the artist formerly known as Twitter. So yeah, let us know what you think.
Yeah, Schiff is our number one fan, I believe. So he always tells me how much he loves it. So if nothing else, we'll continue doing it for him. So, but anyways, like I said, episode 5 titled "Damaged." We open the episode on the island where Oliver is being taught how to shoot an arrow while retrieving a rabbit that the archer that he has been hanging out with or kind of been held captive by, I guess, a little bit. But he goes to collect a rabbit that the archer had shot so they could eat it, obviously. But while he's going to retrieve it, he is captured by some armed men wearing masks and obviously hiding their faces, so we can't really tell who they are. We come back to present day. Oliver is being taken to the police station, booked, and then interrogated by Quentin. The questioning is pretty quickly interrupted by Moira and Walter demanding that Oliver be set free and not to say anything until his lawyer is present. Oliver is let go, says he has to be back pretty quickly though, but tells Moira and Walter that he doesn't want anyone other than Laurel to defend him. So obviously that is going to be a problem with Daddy Lance if Laurel is going to be even thinking about representing him. We then go to the courtroom for his bail hearing. Oliver insists that he's representing himself as Laurel has not shown up and assures the judge that he is innocent. We then hear from the DA, who is obviously representing just the police force, I guess. Her name is Kate Spencer. She moves that bail be refused as Oliver could escape during time. Laurel then comes in, objects, and suggests that Oliver be tagged with a GPS bracelet, confined to house arrest. Oliver starts to object to this actually, but the judge agrees and assigns bail of a ridiculous amount. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it being pretty astronomically big.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 51 million or 15 million, I think, but it was like a 5 million bond or something like that. So
something ridiculous. But then the spectators in the courtroom kind of leave, or the people that were watching the trial. Oliver thanks Laurel for coming to help, And she says that they both know he couldn't be the vigilante because the Hood is actually trying to make a difference, which is not Oliver's style. So a good little quip there from Laurel. So what did you think of these first couple of scenes?
These are pretty good. I actually had a question at the beginning, and that's really, I mean, this could be the beginning or the end. And that's, I said, do we reset the counter because everybody assumes that he's the Hood? So
I don't think nobody knows that he's the Hood.
Nobody knows. Yeah. So I guess
I think it needs to be known.
Okay. So I guess, all right. So we're continuing on with that, but no, other than that, I think that, no, this is a good beginning because it just kind of shows, you know, we're setting up we're setting up the trial, quote unquote trial, so to speak. So
yep. The trial of his life.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, the counter's only at 1, so I guess it really wouldn't make a difference because this is the first episode since somebody's figured it out. So
correct.
Because obviously Diggle figured it out at the beginning of the last one, but yeah, like you said, the courtroom scene kind of sets up the kind of through line for the rest of the episode. So we'll see some more interrogations, some more kind of stuff like that. But after we leave the courtroom, we go back to Queen Manor. An officer attaches a bracelet to Oliver's ankle. Oliver has decided to throw a prison-themed rave on the estate in celebration of his coming freedom when he wins this case. Tommy is then there. I think it's his only appearance in the episode. He warns that it's not a good idea, but Oliver wants to make it clear to everyone that he is not worried about this trial. We then go to Quentin. He confronts Laurel about her new client, obviously Oliver. He insists that Oliver got Sarah killed, but Laurel points out that he's biased and that he's not letting that guide his prosecution of Oliver. Her father doesn't believe it, insisting that even the evidence is solid. But Laurel tells him that Oliver wasn't the one who killed Sarah or drove off her mom. So she's really getting some pretty good digs in at these people to really piss them off. So digging at Quentin ruining his marriage because of Sarah dying, obviously. Quentin, of course, storms out, and Laurel tells him that he's not the only one who misses both of them. We then go to Diggle. He visits Oliver in his room and asks what he's up to. Oliver says that he knew the security camera was in the stairwell, and he figured out that someone would eventually review the footage. He set the whole thing up so that he could divert suspicion from himself, since someone would eventually tie the appearance of the Hood to Oliver's return to civilization. John points out that Oliver is putting his family through hell, but Oliver insists that the mission comes first. He shows John an internet article about Leo Mueller, a German arms dealer who has stolen military-grade weapons and brought them to Starling City to sell to street gangs, obviously. John wonders how Oliver plans to go after Leo when he's under house arrest, and Oliver asks him to just shadow Leo for the time being to figure out where things are going down and when things are happening. He then sends John to the hideout where he gets some transponders from Oliver's collection and kind of checks out the rest of the high-tech equipment he has going on down there. So what did you think of Quentin and Laurel kind of going at each other and Diggle and Ollie's conversation here?
I mean, a lot of good dialogue on this between Laurel and her father, Quentin. I mean, it's kind of it just shows that it just kind of continues to show that, you know, she's seeing things in a lot bigger picture, and he's just still obsessed with this hatred of Oliver for obvious reasons. But I kind of liked it. I thought it was very real brutally honest and just real, you know, good acting on behalf of both of them. That's one of the things that I will say overall in this one episode is, and it's funny because I think we had kind of said collectively that the last episode we didn't love as much. But this one, I feel like it's a complete 180 as far as character development and just real good character development in this episode, and a lot of great dialogue. Like the writing in this episode is fantastic. So yeah, I like this. Obviously, I love the conversation that Diggle has with Oliver, because it's just putting it's sending Diggle off into this like side quest, and he excels at this side quest, as we see like kind of in the next couple of scenes here. So yeah, but I like this altogether. I thought this was a very strong character driven segment. So
yeah, I like that, he brought Diggle officially onto the team in the last episode, and he's already kind of giving, obviously he kind of has to in this situation if he wants to stop who he wants to stop. But I'm glad he already is giving him like a mission that he can like take on himself. So I definitely agree with that. I like that.
And he's not treating him. He's not treating him as a sidekick either. Like he's treating him as a partner, which I know was like a big deal. I think Diggle had made out that he's not a side, but I like that he's already treating him as a partner, and I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. We then go after this to our next scene. Walter meets with the head of Queen Consolidated Security, Josiah Hudson. He tells him that this is an off-the-record assignment that he has for him. He explains that he found the remains of the Queen's Gambit and wants Josiah to move them to a secure location that he's obviously going to give him. And then Josiah kind of wonders what's going on, and Walter kind of admits that he doesn't even know what's going on yet. He just needs him to do this task for him. And obviously, like he said, kind of off the record. We then go to the DA. She calls for a meeting with Laurel and Oliver, and even brings in Quentin as well. Kate explains that Quentin bypassed her office when he arrested Oliver, and that she's willing to let Oliver make an insanity plea, but he must go to a psychiatric hospital and have an extended stay there. Oliver kind of pops up and refuses, insisting that he is completely sane, and he even offers to do a polygraph test. It isn't admissible in court, but he'll do it in front of Quentin to convince the sergeant that he is innocent. Laurel talks to him
to Laurel's chagrin.
Yeah,
much to Laurel's chagrin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Laurel kind of talks to him privately, says that he should take Kate's deal because obviously if they lose, he could go to prison for the rest of his life, and coming back was ultimately pointless in the grand scheme of things, I guess. All Oliver will agree to is to accept the deal if he fails the polygraph test. Laurel is satisfied for the moment, but warns him that he's not the only one with something to lose. We go back to the past on the island. The three men take Oliver to a camp where they're loading crates of some kind. They have a big kind of campsite laid out. They take him into the tent and leave him with the camp leader, Edward Fires. He introduces himself. Oliver introduces himself as well and says that his family will pay a handsome reward if this Edward Fires fellow will return him back to where he's from. Edward says, however, that they'll get to that and shows him a photograph of the archer in a military uniform. He asks Oliver if he's seen this man, and Oliver claims that he has no idea who that is. Edward isn't convinced and says that Oliver should think on how he's going to suffer as he calls in his acquaintance, and it is a man in a black and yellow mask that we have actually seen already in the first episode, but it is the mask of Deadshot that we will eventually see. Not Deadshot. Name's escaping me. Deathstroke. Sorry. I had the dead part right. Deathstroke. Yeah. Obviously the mask of Deathstroke. So what did you think of the kind of DA conversation and then this conversation kind of back on the island?
Well, I think that, Oliver's playing with fire as far as like the polygraph, but I guess we can see why he's able to easily fail that in the future. So, I mean, looking at this first time, you're like, yeah, I know that polygraphs aren't always the best, but aren't you playing with fire here, kid? But obviously we see what happens. Moving on. And then as far as, now I don't know if you want to discuss Edward Fires now or if you want to wait, but I do have a little background on him. It's up to
Go ahead.
Okay, so he first appeared in Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters #3 in 1987. And he's initially employed by the CIA to kill the rogue archer Shadow. I think it's Shadow.
It's Shadow, yeah.
Who I think Shadow appears later
she
on
comes
in the
up
show,
pretty soon, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And then not a huge he's not a huge character like in the book. I think he kind of falls out. He later becomes like a father figure to Oliver's son, Connor Hawk, who's the second man to bear the name Green Arrow. And then he kind of appears throughout, but he does come back in the DC Rebirth, which was like the 2016 relaunch. And he kind of comes back, I would say, more along the lines of what his character is in the Arrowverse, because he comes back as a mercenary and a member of the Ninth Circle, an international criminal organization and bank.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of his comic book reference. I mean, he's played by a actor Sebastian Dunn, and we'll obviously see him. Yeah, we see him in. It says first and 8th seasons of Arrow, so we'll see him again. Jesus, towards the end of our run, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's either the last season or the next to last season. I'm pretty sure. So,
yeah. So we'll see him in the end
in the future. But yeah, I mean, I figured he was some kind of. Usually, if guys get names, they have a significance to the and it play a central factor in an episode like this. They have some kind of comics representation, I'm sure.
And it's funny too, because we still don't have the name of Deathstroke. He's not officially named. Yeah. And we also don't officially have named it's Malcolm Merlin, as we know, kind of spoiler alert, but he's not officially named. And neither is Yao Fei, who's, Oliver's like mentor on the island. So it's like these are like 3 kind of significant characters throughout the show that have yet to be officially named yet. And we're already we're in episode 5. So kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned Malcolm Merlin. We'll see him in this episode. He still doesn't get named. Mora just kind of comes in and starts yelling at him. That will come to here in a second. She just starts hollering at him and stuff. So we don't get his name. So we're still not going to dive into his actor or anything like that. We'll do that when he officially gets a name. So
correct.
Yes. But we go to back to the house. The workers are setting up the prison-themed party. Oliver comes out to chat with Thea. He tells Thea that everything will be okay, but she points out that he's been acting weird ever since he came back, disappearing at weird times of night and kind of not telling anybody where he's going. She reminds him of the arrowhead that he gave her. Obviously, that seems like if he was going to be a guy that shot bow and arrows, that maybe that would be kind of a telltale sign that it's him. But Oliver says that it was just a coincidence that he bought it at the airport gift shop. Thea seems kind of reassured and says that she knew Oliver couldn't be a killer and was just worried that she will lose him again. And Oliver promises that she will not. Like I mentioned before, Moira Queen comes in to see the unnamed businessman when he kind of summons her there. She tells him that the charges against Oliver are false, but he wonders if there is something that Oliver has to hide, and warns her that they need to know if her son is hiding something. Oliver and Laurel then meet with Quentin for the polygraph tests. After calibrating the machine on Oliver's truthful answers, Quentin first asked if he was at Iron Heights prison, and then if he was the vigilante. And he seems to pass with flying colors. So we then go back to the island for a little bit. Edward demands to know if Oliver has seen Yao Fei as his torturer waits patiently. And then we go back to Oliver again. And this is where he says he's never been to Iron Heights and he is not the Hood. The polygraph technician confirms that he's telling the truth, and Quentin starts to ask Oliver about the island and whether he was tortured or all that kind of stuff, if he killed anybody while he was there. When Oliver doesn't answer, we cut back, and the torturer in the Deathstroke mask stabs him very violently in the stomach, chest area, and what was a pretty brutal visual.
Yeah.
So, and he just screams in immense pain. So, what did you think of Thea and Oliver's kind of conversation? Obviously, our unknown businessman talking to Moira, and then this kind of polygraph scene mixed in with the flashbacks.
I think the Oliver scene with Thea is a good scene. Again, continuing to show her character as, missing Oliver and not wanting to lose her brother again and all that kind of stuff, which I like. At one point he calls himself a Robin Hood wannabe, which I thought was kind of funny. I thought that was good. I mean, the polygraph scene, I love this scene. I'll talk a little bit more about it later on for some reason you may already know. And I thought it was great. I thought that it's again, I gotta just say how blown away in rewatching this. And like I said, I haven't really rewatched the show since it originally aired. So I mean, this is going on now over 14 years. So going back and just seeing this, the dialogue in the scene is fantastic. Like they do so much good, just like back and forth between Quentin and Oliver. And, just in the polygraph scene alone, it's so good because he asks him about, did you ever murder anybody? And you see Oliver like totally just change everything about him. And he says, yeah, I murdered when I asked your daughter to go, which I was like, oh my God, it was so good. And then when he asks about the island and Laurel's like, wait a minute, hold on a minute. And he's like, no, I was tortured. Just unbelievable dialogue, unbelievable emotion shown on Oliver's face, which I love. And honestly, like Quentin, he's shooting from the hip. Like he's not going to friggin' hold back. And I love it. And that's one of the cool things about, like you hear that stuff about like in depositions and things like that, where it's like they can ask you anything and you're really not supposed to lie because you're technically under oath. And so I thought it was great.
Yeah, they really dip into the emotional sequence here. Oliver is physically rattled by thinking about what happened in the past, all of the scars and bruises and cuts and just emotional turmoil he went through on the island. And obviously the death of Sarah obviously has him shook up a little bit too. So we then go from there, we go to the house. Oliver is throwing the party. He greets his guests, inviting them to make as much noise as they want because the closest house is like forever away. So we can make as much noise as we want. And we even need to make so much noise that they actually do hear us despite being so far away. So Oliver's really trying to hype everybody up. Quentin watches from the crowd as Oliver goes inside to meet privately with Diggle. Diggle has Leo's current location from the transponders. And Oliver says that the hood will stop him, but it won't be him this time. Diggle realizes that Oliver set this whole thing up so that he'd have a perfect alibi when Diggle dons the costume and goes after Leo. Oliver admits that he wasn't expecting Diggle to have to stop an arms dealer, but Diggle says that he's okay with the risk because this is what he signed up for. What he doesn't like is Oliver lying to him. So Oliver obviously apologizes for the way that they kind of got to this situation. And Diggle then says that he will stop the deal and make it happen. Laurel then comes to the party and asks to talk to Oliver privately. He takes her to his bedroom. Oh boy. And she apologizes for her father's behavior in the deposition earlier, the polygraph. Oliver says that he understands why Quentin is angry and that Quentin has every right to be as angry as he is. Laurel interrupts, telling Oliver that after Sarah died, Quentin threw himself into work and other things and drove Laurel's mom away. Since then, Laurel has been so focused on her family that she didn't realize what Oliver had went through and all the crap that he probably went through on the island. She has to see his scars, so Oliver kind of seductively opens his his shirt, unbuttons it very slowly to reveal all of the cavalcade of cuts and scars that he has on his chest and kind of stomach area. He tells her that there were times when he wanted to die, but that the fact that he wanted something more kept him alive, obviously, talking about her. And then they start to kind of make out, but Laurel obviously pulls away and runs out. So that was a pretty hot and heavy scene. So I'll stop there. What did you think of that? And what did you think of the idea of Diggle maybe donning the hood?
I mean, it's a great scene. Two great scenes, I think. I do one of the things. Can I say some trivia, or do you want to wait till trivia later on?
No, you can go ahead and say it.
All right, because there's some things I'm sure you probably pulled as well, but like when Oliver comes out at the party, the prison number on his shirt is 399471, which is a hex color for the green that closely matches his hood.
Oh wow! Okay.
Did you have that, or did you not?
I didn't. I have another thing, but it's based on when he gets arrested at the beginning.
Okay. So. All right. Yeah. So that I thought was kind of I'm like, that's a fucking, like, my brother and I do this all the time where we go like nerd whenever we hear like something really nerdy. That's wicked nerdy. But yeah, no, I mean that's it's great. Oh, and then also Laurel comes in and she says, "Oh." She's like, "You remember when we were in here the last time?" She goes, "Yeah, we were getting together for Tommy's Halloween party." And she says, "Oh, those fishnet stockings. I don't know what I was thinking." Obviously, if anybody knows, Laurel is the Black Canary, and that's what she wears in the comic book. Is she has fishnet stockings on, and so that was kind of like a little Easter egg for everybody. Fish egg.
The fish egg, fishnet.
It was a little fish egg. Yeah, so it was an Easter egg that for everybody that knew that would have been like a ha 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 ha. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of the trivia notes as well.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
But I wrote that down as a note because I wrote that down. I went Laurel fishnets ? And then I went dash Black Canary, and then when I looked it up afterwards, I circled yes. So yeah,
I got you. That's funny. But we go back to the island. Edward is again kind of interrogating Oliver. I can't remember which scene. I may have skipped it already, but he tells Oliver what the name of the island is at some point throughout this. So Lian Yu, I think, Lian Yu is going to be
the first interaction with them. Yeah,
yeah. I forgot to mention that. I knew it was one of the interactions, but I couldn't remember which one. But it's called Lian Yu, which is, I believe, translates to purgatory or something to that effect.
Yes.
That he mentions earlier. So we do have a name for the island now. It's called Lian Yu. But again, Edward is kind of still interrogating Oliver about the Archer, and Oliver will not tell the truth. He tells the guy in the Deathstroke mask to kill him, but then the Archer breaks in, knocks Edward and the guard out, and the Torturer and him kind of go back and forth, catching he actually catches an arrow mid-fight, and the two men kind of fight it out. Yao Fei or the Archer finally gets the upper hand and kind of discombobulates him a little bit, and him and Oliver leave. We then go back to present day. Leo cuts a deal with a street gang for some weapons. It's pretty serious weapons. The lights in the warehouse that they are at go out, and then they all start to scatter. As Leo and his men start to drive away with the weapons, Diggle, donning the hood, obviously, takes on the gang members and kind of takes them out. We then go to Walter. He calls Moira to his office and tells her that he knows that Moira recovered the Queen's Gambit and that she had it shipped to Starling City. He tells her that the head of security that he sent on a special mission earlier seemingly randomly died in a car accident while moving it to a more secure location, and accuses Moira of lying to him and maybe having something to do with this guy seemingly dying out of nowhere. She then warns Walter that he's on a dangerous path and that the people that are behind this entire scheme will stop at nothing to accomplish what they want to accomplish. So, what did you think of the Archer saving Oliver from his captors, as well as this pretty intense conversation with Walter and Moira?
It's a pretty cool scene. I mean, with the obviously there's not a ton of like huge fight sequences in this episode. Like I said, this is mostly just a character development episode, but I do like that we have this fight sequence, very small, between obviously the we'll just call him the mentor at this point, and then and Deathstroke, which I think is kind of cool. It's cool to see Deathstroke catch a arrow pretty much point blank and then just kind of like snap it in half. I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, and then obviously the Moira development is interesting, and you know, we know where this is kind of heading down, what road this is, as we've like, this is a rewatch, we know what happens. So but yeah, good overall altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. We then go to our next scene. Diggle calls to tell Oliver that he disposed of the gang, but Leo was able to escape. A waiter knocks at the door, reminding Oliver that he has to be at the party. When Oliver comes out, he realizes that the waiter has a gun and is going to kill him. They have a little bit of a struggle, but Quentin eventually arrives just in time and shoots the attempted killer dead. Quentin then takes Oliver downstairs to meet with Moira and Walter. Moira, realizing the killer works for obviously the other boss that she kind of works for, that we've seen, obviously Malcolm Merlin, that we've talked about, and makes the best of the situation by suggesting that Quentin accusing Oliver of being the Hood has made him a target to many criminals. Quentin then gets a call from the station and removes the GPS bracelet from Oliver's ankle. He explains that multiple witnesses placed the Hood across town, busting up a street gang. He has been told that all charges against Oliver have been dropped. As he leaves, Oliver thanks him for saving his life, and Quentin kind of acknowledges it, but he still seems like he's pretty pissed that he has to deal with all of this. We then go to the next day. Moira bursts into Malcolm's office and demands to know why he's targeting her son. He says that he had to take steps to dispose of Oliver if he was their enemy, as Quentin claimed. Malcolm apologizes, assuring Moira that it's clear that her son isn't the person who is after them. He does admit that he had Josiah killed to protect their secrets. Moira warns him that while she'll do whatever he asks, she'll destroy him if he ever touches any of her family. So what did you think of obviously Oliver kind of getting let free, and then Moira and Malcolm's kind of conversation there?
You kind of see this look on Quentin's face when Oliver thanks him, where, like you just kind of said, where he's just like, you know, like, because he has to kind of accept the fact that he saved this guy's life, even though he kind of really wants him to be guilty of something. He wants to throw him away into jail for the rest of his life. So I kind of dig that he kind of, yes, and I like that he looks at him and he kind of just, like, he sighs and resigns himself to, like, I guess I can't really hate this guy for too much. The only thing that would have been better, in my opinion, is when he's leaving and Oliver says, thank you. He could have just been like, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry for everything. Because I guess that's what just, I don't know if he's had that big apology scene with Quentin yet. I can't remember. I don't think he has. And he has with Laurel, which is, you know, great. So I know he's still trying to make amends, I guess, and this is his whole, like, you know, his whole thing with protecting the city. But yeah, no, I mean, other than that, I thought it was good. And then the one thing I forgot to point out was when Diggle shows up at the Arrow base, which I'm going to call the Quiver. I don't care what you say. And
that's fine.
I love that scene. That's a great scene where he shows up. He's like,
yeah, he touches the arrow and pricks his finger.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. And then obviously I kind of like that they set up that Moira's not a villain, so to speak. She's not a villain. She might just be a bit of a protagonist or an antagonist, I guess, but she's not a villain in this case, because she goes in and she basically says, like, if you hurt one hair on my family's head, I'll end you. And, she's very threatening like that. So I like that as well. So it just solidifies that while she appeared to be possibly a villain, she's not. She's just an antagonist at some point.
That wouldn't work for Walter. He doesn't have any hair, so he could attack him.
Wow.
It would be a difference.
A bald joke. Thanks, Logan.
Sorry.
With your luscious head of hair that you have.
I had to do it while it was there.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Okay.
No, it wasn't a shot to bald men everywhere. It was just.
Is that what it was? Okay.
It was just a shot at Walter. So, but we go back to the Queen Manor. Oliver finds a pouch that he had dropped on the bedroom floor. We kind of go back to the island to see the origin of this pouch. We have the Archer take Oliver back to a cave and admit that he is very impressed that Oliver did not break under the torture that he went through. He reminds Oliver to keep breathing and gives him the pouch. And then the Archer runs out to go, I guess, take down more of the bad guys, or kind of just scout where they may be, or if they've kind of moved camp or something like that. Oliver tries to follow after him, but he's in a cave, and as the Archer leaves, he kind of seals it with a giant rock. So Oliver is seemingly trapped in this cave until the Archer comes back to set him free. We then go to Laurel. She comes to see Oliver and tells him that she studied the polygraph test. She realized that Oliver lied when he said he hadn't been to Iron Heights prison because they did visit it together on a field trip in 8th grade. She figures that he might have forgotten that until she looked at the readings and realized that there were several suspicious flutters. Laurel wonders what else he lied about, and Oliver says that he doesn't like to talk about what happened on the island because people would consider him damaged. He claims that since returning, he can't sleep, barely eats, and can't sign his name, but much less use a bow and arrow. After a moment, Laurel says that they're clearly still very attracted to each other, but that nothing can happen between them. Oliver then agrees and says that he believes that to be true as well. And Laurel gives him the polygraph results as she leaves. We go to later on, Oliver and Diggle go to the hideout, and Oliver defends his decisions to keep Laurel in the dark. Diggle then doesn't believe it, figuring that things didn't happen the way Oliver planned, and that those close to him are starting to question his true motives. So what did you think of Laurel and Oliver kind of laying out that they can't be together despite the fact that they may want to be, and Yao Fei kind of telling Oliver to chill in this cave?
I mean, those are both good scenes. I like that. Yeah, is the pouch supposed to be, do we know what's in the pouch, or is that stuff that he makes the tea out of? Do we know that for sure, or do we not know that?
I'm sure it's some kind of like herb that helps with healing or something like that. I don't think we know yet, but I'm sure we'll figure it out fairly soon. But I'm sure it's some kind of
something. Yeah.
Yes, something like that. Some kind of herb that like he could put in.
All right, so we haven't. It's not a confirmed thing yet, right?
No, we haven't seen what's in the pouch.
Right. Yeah.
What's in the pouch? I'm just kidding.
What's in the pouch? So, wow, is that a movie you have seen? Holy shit!
No, I have not. I have actually not seen that movie. I just know the quote.
God damn it! I mean, great episode. I mean, great scenes. Yao Fei, proud of him that he, and actually that's something too that Edward Fires said too. He's like, I'm surprised, that you have such resolve or whatever. So. Not bad for a kid who really at this point still all are at the island at this point. Like Oliver's still just a spoiled kid. Like he doesn't really have anything going for him as far as, and I mean, I thought that was kind of neat that like not only did he not give up, what's his name again? Chao Fei or Xiao Fei?
Yeah, Yao Fei.
Yao Fei. He didn't give up Yao Fei at all, but he also doesn't, even after getting tortured, he didn't give him up, which I thought was kind of cool. So, good, nice beginning to show his resolve and his noble quest or whatever, his nobility or whatever. Yeah, so I like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that the situation with his father on the island has had some kind of effect on him because it seems like his character to this point would have easily given him up. Because I mean, Yao Fei's kind of kept him in his shelter and stuff like that, and fed him a little bit, but he was kind of a dick to him for the most of the time they've been together, and like didn't even speak English to him and stuff. Obviously, he's started to kind of open up a little bit more as we've kind of gone on, but I mean, he doesn't have any allegiance to that guy, and these guys have guns and weapons and swords and shit, obviously. Yeah. So I mean, like, it would have been real easy for him to give him up. So they're already starting to build that he's a very noble and kind of loyal guy,
honorable guy,
very honorable. That he's already kind of dedicated to keeping this guy safe, despite not knowing him all that well. But we go from there to our last few scenes. Walter packs up and is going to leave Queen Manor for a little bit. He starts to leave. He tells Moira that he's taking a long business trip to Melbourne to check out their holdings out in Australia. And he doesn't quite know how long he'll be gone. Though this was just a cover story for him kind of needing to spend some time away from Moira after finding out that she has lied and kept the Queen's Gambit from him all this time. Diggle then asks Oliver if he has considered how his plan would affect his friends and family. Oliver kind of just stares into the abyss and doesn't really give much of an answer, but I think he kind of knows what he's giving up and all that kind of stuff. So Laurel then tracks down Quentin. He has been drinking at a bar and he is absolutely tanked. She kind of has to help him walk out. He even, like, as he's pulling her away from the bar, grabs the drink. It takes one last good guzzle. So obviously we kind of dig into the idea that, Quentin may be a bit of an alcoholic, and this might be another reason that Laurel's mom left as well. So, but then we go to our last scene where Oliver says that he's all too aware of the effects of his lying and explains that it hurts him worse than anyone else. He then dons his costume, tracks down Leo, and breaks up the second attempt to sell the guns. After taking out Leo's men, the Hood points the arrow at Leo before he shoots, and it says he had a chance and blew it, and that Leo failed this city. So we get
we got a good, you have failed this, even though the guy really, he's not failing the city. He just came to the city to sell goods, but we got a good one.
He really should be shooting the other guys and saying that because they're behind the guns from him.
Yeah, so. Right?
But we got our first really good, you have failed this city. So
you have failed this city.
So, what did you think of Walter seemingly going away for a little bit, and then this final scene where Ollie dons the hood yet again and takes out the bad guys?
Well, I mean, Walter friggin' yeeted right out of there, which was nice. He's like, yeet, I'm out. And so he's gone, which is good. I mean, he's kind of a character anyway. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see how he develops further. But, I mean, real no loss, I guess. I hate to say that because it's mean, but, like, I don't know. We're waiting for him to leave anyway, because he's going to figure out that. Well, because he's going to figure out that Moore is kind of a, like I said, a bit of a douche. So I mean, what's he going to do? He's going to hang around and try to like salvage this? No, he's going to be outsea sooner or later. So we'll get there, and when we get there, we get there. But yeah, and then obviously I love seeing Oliver put the hood back on and do some parkour and all that kind of stuff and shoot people with the arrow and stuff. So yeah, good times.
Yeah, definitely a solid scene there at the end to kind of wrap things up. Because, like you said, we got a lot of dialogue, a lot of drama in this one, and not a ton of action. So we got a little bit with Diggle earlier, and then we got a pretty solid little ending scene with Oliver taking out the arms dealer as well as the buyers of said arms. So. But before we get to any awards or rating the episode, I've got some trivia as per usual. I mentioned earlier, damaged refers to the title, or damaged is the title. It refers to Oliver's conversation with Laurel about the island changing him and making him damaged, both physically and mentally, emotionally, all the same. This is actually the last episode where Oliver will have voiceovers throughout the episode. So he will always have them at the beginning where he kind of talks about, what happened in the previous episode and stuff like that. But there will be a rare couple of exceptions throughout the rest of the episode. But this being a regular thing where he kind of does a little bit of voiceovers during the episode, this is the last one where they do that. So I thought that was a pretty interesting fact. I think it only happens in one other episode. So like I said, he always is going to start the episode with kind of a voiceover. But in the first few episodes, obviously, they've kind of interspersed them through the middle parts. But this is the last time they'll do that.
I didn't even remember that they did. I didn't even remember that. They had voiceovers. They had voiceovers throughout.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's only like one or two per maybe. But yeah, that this is the last one where they do that. There's one episode in like season 7, I think, that it happens on. But another one. This is the one that I had for the police. He gets photographed for the police records, and the little placard he's holding has the numbers 731941, and this is the Green Arrow's first appearance in More Fun Comics issue 73, which was released in 1941. So that was the one that I had for the number on the police placard.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah. I saw that one as well. Yes. Yes. More Fun Comics number 73.
There we go. We then have Oliver had said the line at some point, us billionaire vigilantes, we love our toys. This was obviously a subtle nod to Bruce Wayne and Batman, who tends to use a lot of gadgets. You mentioned the one earlier about Laurel mentioning the fishnets. Obviously, that's tied to her character, the Black Canary, in the comics, obviously. This episode also marks the first time that Laurel's mother is referenced. We obviously talked about that a little bit throughout the episode. And then you mentioned the thing about the number on the prison shirt that Oliver is wearing. I had that one as well. So awesome episode. I think it might be the best one we've had yet, honestly. So what would you rate it out of 10?
I agree with you. I think this might be the best one we've seen since. I love all the character development. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I think it's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I was definitely going to go 9. So I definitely agree with you. It's not quite perfect, obviously. Could have used maybe a little bit more action throughout, but I think they definitely, like you said, throughout kind of hit the character development part. They really tapped into the emotions there in that polygraph scene, and kind of, brought out some sides of the characters that maybe we hadn't seen so far. We really got some emotion out of Laurel. We got some out of Quentin. We got some out of Oliver. So I thought really, really good episode. Definitely, I would say the best we've seen so far. So and kind of good coming off the last one, because seemed like we were kind of disappointed by it. So
yes, there are definitely. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember back like what seasons they were, but there's definitely seasons where he's going like head to head with Deathstroke, and also like there's a lot of stuff that like once we start diving into like his stuff on when he's on Lian Yu and everything, like that's when I think like we're gonna start getting like a lot of 9s and 10s, to be honest with you, because I mean there's at some point they start, and I feel like it's either season 2 or 3, like it's not very far into the show where they really start cooking on like they're cooking with gas and they're firing on all full cylinders, whichever one you want to use, whatever analogy you want to use, like where it's just the fighting sequences are awesome. The acting is fantastic. The storyline is fantastic. I mean, they really did. They hit the friggin' nail on the head with this show, I think, as far as it's kind of like when people say like they weren't really sure about Iron Man to kick off the MCU. And it was like Robert Downey Jr. just fucking hit a grand slam with it. And it's like, it kind of is like when you think back to that first group of like MCU movies and how even like they tried with the Eric Bana Hulk and they were like, meh. And it's like, I think that they really killed it with having it be Arrow instead of like starting it off with like Flash or Supergirl or something like that. Like if it was Flash, I don't know if it would have carried as much, honestly. And I love Flash. I do love the Flash. I do. And as you know, because when I tried to talk myself out of this friggin' project, I was like, I don't want to do the Flash. I don't want to do all that. And then I was like, but I really did like the Flash. So it's like, I think we're definitely looking at future seasons of this show is just going to be awesome. I think it's going to be I'm looking forward to this actually. So, and this episode just jazzed me up for all that. So yeah.
Yeah, I won't say that seasons 2 and 3 of the show are the peak because I think it kind of stays pretty awesome throughout. I mean, it definitely peaks and valleys in certain seasons, but I definitely think 2 and 3 are considered probably the 2 best seasons of this show. So definitely, obviously, looking forward to getting into more of that. But we'll go from here to some awards real quick. Who would you have as your MVP for this episode? I think you could probably go a couple of ways, but
I actually that was the last award I awarded. And I mulled over it a lot because I think that you could, like you said, there's 4 right off the bat. I think Laurel, Quentin, Diggle, and Oliver. And I went with Oliver. I really did. And I think, and I don't want to do that all the time. And I think we had said that like Oliver's probably going to win most of it, but I think you and I both picked Laurel last episode, which was good. But I think I'm going to go with Oliver in this because I think he does great character act. Like this is probably, like you said, this is the best we've seen. I think this is the best episode Stephen Amell's put out so far. His character work in this is fantastic. His dialogue is great. He did a great job in this. I almost feel like I wonder if they ever submitted this for like, an Emmy or something like that, because it's a great fucking episode. It really is. So I'm going with Oliver.
Yeah, Laurel was the only other one, or was the other one that I had in my head. Quentin had a good episode as well. So, you could probably give him his flowers. I wouldn't argue against it. But yeah, I'm going to go with Oliver too. I think obviously he has the action scene at the end. He has the stuff on the island that I thought really developed kind of him and his mentor, the Archer, whatever you want to call him. It kind of developed their relationship a little bit more. Obviously, like we said, kind of proved his resolve and kind of his grit and loyalty to certain people, getting through that torture scene without really giving up the Archer, obviously. So yeah, I would go with Oliver just because he had a lot in this episode, and like you said, he showed some pretty ridiculously awesome acting range for sure. So
you have failed this city.
LVP is going to be tough on this one because I don't think anybody really sucked, but who would you go with on that?
Oh, I have and it's not Tommy. Just so you know, it's not Tommy.
Oh, Tommy was only on there for like 2 seconds.
He's only there for 30 seconds, and he didn't say anything douchey. If he had said like a douchey line, I would have given it to him. But he
actually acted like an adult in this episode.
Yes, so I was like, all right, Tommy gets a pass on this one. Honestly, I went with the head of Queen Consolidated Security, Josiah. He goes in, he sits down, he has that weird meeting with friggin' Walter, and then he leaves, and then he dies in a car accident.
Jesus. Yeah,
that's what I'm going with.
I got you.
You can go with Moira if you want, or Walter.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Moira just because she's like the worst person in this episode. But I don't think she was bad as a character per se in this. But she's just a bad lady. Not good. She's tied up in this thing. She can't be truthful with her husband.
Come on, Josiah Hudson. He even has a shitty name.
Boo, Moira.
Boo this woman.
I have to be someone else. I have to be something else.
Yeah.
These next 2 might be the same scene. I'll obviously do them separately, but what would be your best scene in this episode?
I have definly do not have the same. My best scene is Diggle in the quiver. Like he's just down there fucking, like you said earlier, when you said he put his finger, he pricked his finger on the arrow, I was like, yes. I was like so excited. Him in the quiver is the best. I thought that was the best scene. Like just him going, oh wow.
And he's just like looking at all the toys and stuff. It's like,
because yeah, and then I mean you could follow it up with
he's like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, like if they had just had him put the actual hood on in like that one scene in the hideout, I would have been like, yes. But seeing him in the hood was great. But no, I mean, please, I've told you this before. I love Diggle. He's like my favorite character throughout this whole fucking Arrowverse. I love him. And seeing him going in the hideout and like by himself and like looking at all the toys and shit was just so freaking awesome. It's so awesome. So that's my best. You don't have to agree.
No, I did think that was really funny. And like I said, he kind of looked like a kid in a candy store. So I thought that was pretty funny. I would go with the interrogation scene, like we've talked about already.
Okay.
It showed some pretty good acting range from three pretty main characters. So I will go with that one. As far as most important scene, you could go a couple of different directions with this one as well. I think you could go with maybe like him giving like Diggle like the side mission and like proving that like they are a team. He sees him as like an equal, as a member of the team, and he will trust him to get what he needs done. And you could also go with the scene where he gets the house monitor kind of taken off and is acquitted of being this vigilante despite actually being the vigilante. So I would probably go with the Diggle one, but I could understand going the other way. What would you go with for most important?
I went with the most important. I went with the polygraph scene. So I went with that's the most important. You went with it as the best scene. I thought the most important because of just how, like I said, how the character development was and the dialogue. And I really like just him saying when he said, yes, I murdered somebody, and he talks about Sarah, like that to me was just so deep and just gut-wrenching almost, that I felt like he lifted the weight off his shoulders by saying that, you know, like admitting that that's his fault and everything. And instead of it, because it's kind of like once it's out in the open, it's not as powerful anymore. And, you know, it kind of starts to take away the impact of like, so, you know, he can't, like, Quentin can't hold that over his head anymore because he admitted that he did it, you know? He's like, I know, I admit it, you're right, I did it. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I can't take it back, you know? So that's what I went with. But no, I mean, those other scenes that you mentioned are obviously very important. I mean, like, this overall entire episode's fairly important, I feel like, as far as like furthering the story. And we're only 5 episodes in. You know?
Yeah, I was saying, even you could go with Moira and kind of Malcolm's conversations as well, because they obviously are laying out that they're part of a bigger kind of enterprise in the grand scheme of things. So really, really awesome episode. We've said it a couple of times, but it was really great. But just a production note going forward, we're actually going to start covering 2 episodes per episode because like we've talked about in the past, there are quite a few seasons of all of these shows, and there are quite a few shows. Obviously, we kind of wanted to get our footing under us a little bit. I think 5 is a good spot to kind of start doing this. So starting next episode, we're going to start diving into 2 episodes per podcast episode. So I haven't quite decided if we're going to do like combined awards or if we'll do kind of quick awards for each episode or something like that. But
we can talk about that offline.
We will talk about that between recordings. But as per usual, before we get out of here, what would you like to plug?
Well, you can listen to me on GFA Live with PD Winson every week ish. You know, we're pretty good. We just got done with the SummerSlam 1990s. So we're going to be moving on forward. We talked about the Summers. A lot of people mentioning it as the SummerSlam, that SummerSlam, which is kind of funny. But so we're continuing on. I believe we're going to be going through the rest of 1990, at the very least, going up to I think the Survival Series. So we'll see what happens there. But you can also hear when I drop on Exposition, which is the #1 X-Men pod on the North South Connection Podcast Network under the Jenny Position banner, and Of course, you can listen to me on the Backbone Wrestling Network. You hear me and Sean Kidd do not only Hands of Z, but our Hands of Z 0.5 episodes, which I think people do enjoy. All those except for Schiff. And also the Schiff Take, where Sean and I try to irritate each other by coming up with differing opinions on things. And then, of course, you can hear me on the Movie Education with Logan Crosland, with said Thea Queen out of my chair, Logan Crosland here. And also, we do this, We Watch Comics Journey Through the Arrowverse, and Clash of the Champones that I do with a rotating cast. I think the most recent one I had Schiff on for 2. And I think Matt's actually going to do, the next one. So I'm going to get Matt Suda on. Yeah. And then I'll have to have you back on there too, since I remember in the original Schiff plug where Schiff mentioned it, he said that you and him were going to, it was going to be you and him. And I was like, I didn't even count on the two of you doing it all the time. But yeah. And then, then what else do we have on here? We have,
we have Highway to the Impact Zone, obviously.
Yep.
We're actually going to bring some new recruits onto that one. And Jake's been out with, he had a baby, obviously, so he's been on a little bit of a parental leave. So we're going to bring in some help to kind of alleviate the spots where he can't pop in. So we're going to have some new recruits on that episode, or those episodes going forward. We also have YouTube Roulette. Obviously, that's when me, Schiff, Matt, Jake's also on that most of the time. But like I said, he hadn't been on the past few because of the new baby and all that. But we just pick random matches from YouTube and barely watch them, if I'm being honest, and just kind of bullshit and let our insanity out onto the airwaves pretty regularly. So, and then me and Schiff also do Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? We're on the build to Great American Bash. I think we're still a couple weeks out, so we've still got quite a few episodes before we actually get to Great American Bash 2000. So, and then the only other pod that I don't do on the Backbone is Talking Docs. We just recorded an episode of that last night on the Joplin, Missouri tornadoes from 2011, I believe was the year that those happened. Incredible documentary. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. The Twister Caught in the Storm, I think, is the actual title of it. But really good stuff. We had a lot of fun deep diving in. Well, we were kind of depressed as well, but we did have a good time talking.
Well, you picked a tough topic to discuss this season with the natural disasters, but
see, that's the problem that's the problem with documentaries, is most of them aren't about topics that are very happy. So most of them are about murder and
but the murder ones I feel like you can see. That's the funny thing, is like the season you did on, like, I guess, is it animal documentaries or like those ones were like fucking sad mostly, and then
I was just saying, those were those should be happy, but they weren't.
But the murder ones are good because at least it's murder, like murder. But like the murder ones are good because at least it's you can kind of goof on the murder ones a little bit, but I mean, how are you goofing? Like, you guys did the one on Katrina. It's like, how are you gonna goof on Katrina? Like,
we went on a hiatus after that because of it. So
I mean, most of the time you're like, I mean, the last Talking Docs will be just the three you putting your heads in ovens. I mean, I swear. But you guys need to do some happy docs the next season. I don't know. Well, I'll have to do some research and see if I can give you a good topic to do for the next season.
We'll see what we can come up with. But definitely don't forget
to listen to New Gen on a Mission on this channel as well.
Absolutely.
And then everybody can see me cooking on our YouTube on Can Keithie Take the Heat. I know I owe an episode because I have one. I just haven't finished editing it.
I got you.
I have it all.
Take It Easy with Keithie on the YouTube page as well.
Oh yeah, Take It Easy. I gotta get into. Actually, what's funny is that the first person I interviewed on that, which is Calvin Dumont, Chaotic Wrestling's Calvin Dumont. He was on Raw the other night.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the security guards that Obafemi beat up. He's the one that Obafemi launched.
Was that guy? Okay, cool.
So I went and I texted him when I texted him when I went, I just see you on Raw? He goes, yeah. And I went, wow, man. I go, what a bump. I go, you should tell Oba he owes you a drink. And he goes, I'm afraid to.
Did you just get helicoptered by Obafemi by chance?
Oh,
yes,
and I went,
I did.
And then like the next day or like 2 days later, everybody's putting like all the video angles, and I'm going, oh, like he fell on his hip on, I guess it maybe just a lined concrete walkway, because I mean they don't pad the walkway.
It's like a little thin carpet, I'm pretty sure. On top
and I went,
surfaces under it.
Oh, and I went, oh, dude, that must have hurt like a mother. But
he's young, I'm sure. So
he is young. No, he's young. He's an awesome dude too. He's a wicked cool guy. Like I message him and he messages me like right back. And I told him, I said, dude, I can't wait for you to become famous so I can be your driver and your personal assistant. And he writes back and he goes, if I'm famous. And I wrote back, not if, when. he just big heart. So, I love that kid. So he's a good kid.
That's awesome. But yeah, check out everything we got here. Everybody puts in a lot of work to it and does a really good job. So check out everything we got here. Thank you for joining us as always. And hopefully we did not fail this pod.